Hello, everyone. My name is Richard Achee. I am from the graduating class of 2010 of UCD, National University of Ireland, Singapore, which I attended through Kaplan. And I've been asked by my program director, Amos Tan of Kaplan, to share with you some of my thoughts on why I took a master's and what it's meant to me in terms of my career and some of my experiences. Unfortunately, I couldn't join you today. I'm at Google here in New York, and we had a meeting here all this week, and I just couldn't attend, unfortunately. So I agree with Amos that I would make a recording of my responses, but it would have been much better to meet you face to face. So, firstly, the importance of having a master's in the corporate world was one of the questions that's come up. So I would say that having a master's is very important, but that depends on what you want to do in your career. If you want to be an individual contributor throughout your career, then you may or may not need a master's. If you want to take on some sort of leadership role, though, a master's is just becoming more of a standard requirement. There are people that gain leadership roles in large organizations without a master's, but that's becoming less and less common. There's one. It's just more having that on your as part of your credentials. Secondly, in terms of leadership roles, if you have a broad leadership role, so when you start to take on, for example, P&L responsibilities, or when you have to take on the responsibilities of a diverse business where you are responsible for sales and operations and marketing and support of the various functions, having a master's is very helpful because it gives you both breadth of knowledge and, as well as depth in specific areas. So when you take on, for example, a role that requires an understanding of strategy, of operations, of international marketing, these sorts of skills are normally difficult to come by early in your career, and having a master's gives you a foundation to have a much better understanding of these areas. And it's going to be a mix of having that fundamental knowledge as well as experience. But prior to taking a master's, I had some of the experience, but in many cases, I didn't have some of the fundamental knowledge. So I took a master's specifically because I started to perceive those gaps and started to see a need to have a much deeper understanding of some of these topics so that I could apply them directly to my work.